My name is Samuel. Welcome to Make Excel Easy. I'm going to introduce you to basics of Excel. On this video, I will explain format cells in Excel. Let's get started. When we format cells in Excel, we change the appearance of a number or text without changing the number or text itself. Let's format this number. I typed on cell B2. Okay, so now let's right click on cell B2 and let's choose format cells, or we can press Ctrl 1. So we have this format cells dialog box. Okay, so it's landed on font. I can click on number tabs. Okay, so these are what I can do on the number tabs. I can change the format to this. So now I'm choosing the currency, so I can decrease or increase the decimal place fonts. Okay, so I can also change the currency. So let me scroll down. So I have different currency. Let me put it on the dollar, and once I'm done, I can also change the negative number either to be on red or to be in brackets. And when I'm done, so I will click on OK. So you can see it. So I already have decimal point. I can also do it from launch dialog box. Okay, once I click on that, so it's landed me to font, so I can also change it back to number. So I can also do it from the alignment launch dialog box, so it's taking me to alignment tab. So I can click on the number the same way by clicking on the launch dialog box, so it's going to take me directly to the number format. So I can click on the percentage, then increase or decrease the decimal places. So I have that. I just click on OK. So can you see it now? I have changed this number to percentage. So let's go back to the format cells by right clicking on that. Then I will click on format cells, so it's taking me back to that point. You see it. So we have different ways by which you can get into what you want to format. You can also do it from the groups, on the ribbons. So you have that. So now let's take another example. Let me just type this 0.8. So I will click on that. Then I will come to the percentage on the ribbon, on the group. So I have that on the number group. I have the percentage. Can you see it? So on the home tab, the ribbons. So you can also format it. So you can add that. I have the all borders, so I can apply all borders to that, or you can put any of the border that you want. You can also change the font size, the font type, or the font color, so anyone, and the filling. So you can also apply it. So now let me apply the color fill to it. So these are what you can also do on that. So all these are just reverse to the format cells. I can change the currency if I want, apply percentage or apply comma. So I can also decrease or increase the decimal places. So let's take another example of how to increase or decrease the decimal place. So on cell E2, so I type 2.175. okay, while I still click on the cell E2, so I come to increase decimal place. So I just increase the decimal place of the cell E. Can you see cell E2? So now I can also decrease the decimal place. Okay, so I can also decrease the decimal place. So I have done that on the home tab, then the number group on the ribbon. So I can increase and decrease the decimal place. So I just turn it to whole number now. So let's do another thing. So now let's type this equal to, I'm multiplying this cell with 3. So I have this. So I can also, so I will put my cursor on it, then I will increase the decimal place or decrease the decimal place. So you can find it here. So I can also do it by right click on it and come to the format cells. So I can have the number or the currency on the number, so I can increase the decimal places. But okay, so by increasing that, once I'm done, I click OK. I can also click from the launcher, the dialog box launcher, so take me to the number. If I want to use separate, I want to use comma, so that is the comma on the tab, on the group, on the number group, on the ribbon. So once I'm done, so I will click on OK. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, on E column, so let me just type this. Okay, 15, 20, 27, 52, 67. Okay, so now let me divide this column with 7. Okay, and let me autofill that. So I have this, so I can increase the decimal places or I decrease the decimal places. So I can just play around with it. So I can do that from the number group. So okay, just decrease and increase the decimal place. So until you are satisfied with that, you can also do it by right click on that cells and choose format cell. So you can increase or decrease the decimal places, or by pressing Ctrl+1, you have the same dialog box. Okay, so now I can increase and decrease that the decimal place. Okay, can you see it now? So let's leave it like that. Now let's do another thing. Let me just click on equal to round on the column F, row 4. So I have round F4, then comma, then I'm rounding up to how many digits? So let's say 3. Okay, that's the 3. So I have this. Can you see it? It has rounded up. So let's autofill that. So can you see it now? Let me decrease the decimal places. Okay, if I adjust this, the width, I can auto click on that. If you have this, that shows that the content is too small for that. So now instead of round, let's use another thing. Let me trunc, equal to trunc, then my number is F4. Okay, colon F row 4. Then I'm trunking to which number, many number. Let's use the same 3. So now click enter, I press enter. So I can also do the same thing. So now let me autofill that down. Now with the round and the trunc, you can see the difference. You discover that 3 on the 3 decimal place it's rounded up, but for the trunc it's not rounded up. Let's set the digits after decimal place to 0 with this formula, equal to F4, then minus trunc, okay, bracket open, then the same thing, F4, then comma. So the number I'm trunking is 0. Okay, that should be 3. So I can close the brackets. Okay, then I press enter. Now you see that the first 3 is 0 after the decimal place has been turned to 0. Okay, so let's say assuming that I want to turn the 2 to 0. Can you see it? The first 2 figured after the decimal place has been turned to 0. Okay, so the same thing, let me change this to 1. So now the first digit after decimal place has been turned to 0. Okay, now before decimal place I want to turn this to 0, so this is what I will do. Okay, I can have that. Okay, so it's the same thing applicable to the rest by autofill it. So once I autofill it, so I have this, so that means that I've turned the first digit to 0. So I can adjust the content. So I have this hash, shows that the content is too small for it, so I can adjust that. I can also increase the decimal place or decrease the decimal place. So I just decreased the decimal place. Okay, can you see it now? Now I can adjust the width. So I've turned the first digit before decimal place to 0 for all this. If I type 1/3 and press enter, is going to automatically change it to date, while the first figure is month and the other figure is day. So now if I type 4/7 and I press enter, it's going to do the same thing. So now if the first figure I type is greater than 12, so it's not going to change it because that's not the date, because the first figures must be months. So now let me format the dates. Right click on that, choose format cell. So you can go to the custom, so you can pick any of the format or and press OK. So
it's going to change it, or I can do it from the custom from this tab. Okay, I can choose long dates, so I will adjust the width, so I have the long date. So I can change this one also to fraction. If I change this to long date, you see that nothing happened because it's not a date. So I can change that one to fraction. So now let's go back to dates. Let's come here, let's change this to fraction. So it's going to change this to just pure number, so that is fraction. So now let's work on fraction, how we can insert fraction. Okay, so I go to insert tab, then here I come to equation, I click on the equation. So I now choose fraction, so I have my fraction. So I click on the fraction template, so I click on that. So now I have my numerator and denominator, so I click here, so I enter 23, then in this place I enter 7. So I already have my fraction, I have my mathematical fraction. Okay, so this is what you can do. So now let's work on currency factor accounting. So now let's type this following figures on this column, and let's select everything together. Then let's come to the format cell, then I will choose currency. So I click on currency. Now already on 2 decimal places, then I click on OK. Then I have my currency being inserted. So now I can do it also from here. I then choose my accounting or currency. Now let's choose accounting. If I choose accounting, it's going to change it. Okay, so now if I choose accounting, you will discover that the dollar sign is far away from the normal figure. Okay, so the dollar sign is on the left side while the figure is on the right side, which is not the same like the currency. So everything are written together. So now let's select that. Now let me put minus 79.35, and let's go back to the number and let's format that, and let's choose currency. So I can change, because it's a negative, I can put it on red or bracket. So the negative sign will always be like this. So that is currency. So now let's type January year, and let's format that. Click on that, let's put it center. No, let's put it to the right line so that it will be on the same page with this. So now let's go back to the same place, and let's change the font, and let me increase the font size. Okay, then choose single accounting for the underline. So I have the underline. So now at this place, now let me come back to the same place. Let's select everything and let's choose auto sum. It's going to sum it. So now let me click here and go back to this place, and let's choose fonts. So I choose the area black. So let me just area or 12, then font size, and I can choose the double accounting. So the previous one was the single accounting, but the other one is the double accounting. So now let's select this also, and I can change the number to test. So if it is test, is on the left hand side, if its number is on the right hand side. Can you see? If it's on the right hand side is the number. Okay, I can increase the decimal places also. If I change this to test, it's going to be on the left side. If I choose number, is going to be on the right hand side. So I can select that, I can copy it. So now if I copy, let me come here and let's paste it. I will right click on that empty cell, then I will choose paste special. So I can now click on add. Okay, so I will click OK. I can also duplicate cell content by using function. For example, let me duplicate this by using this function equal to value bracket opens. So my text is here, so close the bracket, then press enter, then autofill. So once I've done that, you discover that it has been duplicated. So now let's extract number from the text, how to extract number from tests. So now I have my score 852. I want to extract that using the value equal to value, then bracket open. My test is going to be from right, bracket open, right, then another bracket open. So that is my test, which is this, then comma, then the number from right. So that is, I'm using 3. So that's 3 if you go from right. So if you look at this cell, then you see that this is 852. So I close the bracket. So that is I'm extracting from right. The value is from right. Just press enter. You see I have 852. So now let's say for example is now 2. Okay. So from right, that's why you have 5 2. So I'm counting 2 from right. So now let's go back. Let's just make it 3. Let me put 3 back. So I press enter. Okay, so now let's talk about how to add number to test. So I want to add this $sign to the test. My test equal to, I'm quoting it, test equal to you end colon, then put space, then I close my quotation, then I put the and sign, which is ampersand, then the cell name. So press enter. You will notice that the $sign and the comma has been removed. To include that, I'm going to use this equal to quotation, my test in quotation, case, colon, space, then I close my quotation, then I put ampersand and sign, then I'm going to use tests. So I'm going to, that's my tests. So I will click on that cell, which is B14, then comma, then what is my format tests, the format test, the format I'm using. Okay, so I'm going to quote it. Okay, open the quotation, then the $sign, because I'm attaching the dollar to it. You see the dollar was removed. So I'm going to use hash, comma, hash. So that means to include 1000 separator to it, then 0.00. Then I will close my quotation. I will now close the brackets for the tests. So if I'm done, I will press enter. So if we compare the two cells together, we discover that this one has dollar and separator, while this one does not have. So now let's take percentage as an example. So now let me just put tests. So this percentage, I'm using the percentage. Add this percentage to the test. So I'm putting equal to test, that's big 2. Then my format tests, we put it into quotation, which is 0%. That's the format. Quote it, then bracket, close the bracket. Okay, so now I put ampersand to join the number with the tests. So I'm going to quote my tests. So I just do the quoting, put my tests. So then I end the quotation, close the quotation, then press enter. So now if I change any figure here, so automatically it's going to change from that end to. So that is how we can include our tests of numbers to the tests. Let me change this decimal to dates. Come to this format set, then pick short dates. So I've done that. So now let me add test to it. Okay, by putting equal to, let me write quotation, open a quotation, exam dates, then colon, exam date was, okay, put space, colon, space, then close the quotation, then and symbol, then tests. So I'm going to open the brackets, then that cell B4. Okay, then quotation, then I'm putting the format for my dates. So I'm entering this, the month, date, day, then year. Then, so I'm done. I press enter. Okay, now you see it's exam date was, I just inserted the date. So if that cell changes, it will automatically change. So let me show us how to add zeros before a given number. For example, let's select this. I want to customize a number format. Right click on that and choose format cell. Then on the number tab, so I can choose custom. So how many digits do I want to have? So now use pure number. So I will put 0. I will increase this 0. Let me increase to 4. Can you see I have 4-digit number? So I can even put 3. So anyone I have, let me choose 3 and click OK. So now because my number is 15, so and I have 3 digits, that's why you have that. So I can also format it and increase it. Let me increase this to 4 and click OK. Then I have 4-digit number. That my first number is 15. That's why it starts with its zeros. So now let's say, for example, let's take another example, especially when you are doing it for phone number. If I enter the phone number, the first 0 will be removed. So select this numbers, then right click on it, choose format cells, then go to the number, go to the custom. So now the number is supposed to be 11 digits. So I'm going to put 11 zeros. So once I'm done, can you see it? I have the 0 precede the number. To add unit to a given number, select those numbers. So then right click on it, go to the format cells, then on the number tab choose custom, then how many digits do you want, then space, then put your unit in a single quote, and when you are done just click OK. You will notice that the kg has been inserted to the selected numbers. So now let's format the date. Right click on that, then choose format cells. So I have different date samples that you can pick. So now let me assume that I want to pick this. Just click on that, then click OK. So this, you see the format has been changed. So now I can also customize the format by right click on that, then go to the format cells. So now instead of picking from the date sample, then I will click on custom, then I can delete this. So I'm going to put DD for date, for day, MM for months, then YYY for year. Then I have DDDD for the name of the day. So I have this. Okay, so I can also change the month to the word. Right click on that. Let's go back to the same place. So instead of MM, I will make my M to be 4M, 4 M's. So now I have that. Then it has been changed to the name of the month in word. So I have April instead of 04. So I can also change, instead of slash, I can also customize this to use IV. So I will just come to this place, I put IV, so I click OK. So anytime I type in slash, okay, if I put it in slash like this, it's going to automatically change it to this format. How to apply format painter? First you select the content, then you click the format painter, then you select the cell you want to apply on. So now let me just format this cell, let me just apply the color to this. So now I want to copy that format to another one, so I double click on the format painter. So now the cell that I want to apply this to, I click on it. So let me adjust that. If you look at it, you discover that they are on the same format. So I have applied the format on this cell to that one, that is format painter. We can also style a cell by going to the home tab, and we click on the cell we want to style, then we click on the cell styles. So we have different cell styles that we can choose. Okay, you can choose it for the input and for You can choose it for the input. We have different one, you see different color. We can also choose it for the headings. So we have for the heading, we have for different styles for the ancient. So for the heading, for the title, you can also pick any one. Okay, so we have different cell styles that we can choose. Okay, so you can just play around with this, then you see different color for it. We can also define our own by clicking on new cell style. You can define our own. Another thing we need to learn is how to wrap the text. So we click on cell we want to wrap, then we come to the home tab. On the home tab, then we now click on wrap text. So you see that it has wrapped the text on that cell, so we can adjust the width. So we see it has wrapped the text. We can put the text on the center. So the text is already on the center. If you adjust the horizontal, we see that the text is already fixed to center. We can adjust both the horizontal and the vertical line. So we can also do it from the dialog box by pressing Ctrl+1. So we have the dialog box, we have the wrap text. Let me uncheck that and click OK. So you see, just adjust the column width. So I come back to the alignment, click on the alignment dialog box launcher. So I have mark the wrap text on the horizontal, I put it center. On the vertical, also put it as center. I click OK. So my content on the inside the cell is already at the center. Let me also explain how we can join two columns together or different cells together. Okay, let's assume that in column 1 I'm having Tom, I'm having George. So also in column 2 I typed Brady and Wizen. This column, let's call it first name, and the second column, let's call it last name. So let me fit the content by adjusting the width. So now the next column, let's call it last name. So I want to join this column together. So I will use concatenate equal to concatenate. So open brackets, then this cell, that is my D20, comma. So I want to put a space between the first column and the second column. So I will enter the empty quotation, then E20, so the last column. So close the bracket. Okay, do not put space in the quotation. So now I've done that. I press enter. He has joined the two tests together. Also, how to add strike through to the text or numbers. So let's select that range and let me click on the font dialog launcher. So I have the font dialog launcher, so I can click on the strike through. So on the font, so I will click on OK. So already have the strike through, a line across the text, or I can simply press Ctrl+5 on the selected text. So if I press that, I will have strike through. How to superscript or subscript a text. Now let's enter S2, then highlight the 2, then right click on it, then choose format cell, then click on superscript, press OK. See, it has raised the 2 up. To do the same thing, let's type S2, the same S2. Let's highlight the 2 and click on it, choose format cells. Then instead of superscript, I can click subscript, then I'll click OK. Can you see now I have the superscript and subscript. The 2 has been raised up and the 2 has been raised down. Now let me type P here and see what I want to do. I come to the home, I put it at the center. Okay, then I will change the fonts to this, and that is Wingdings 2. Okay, so once I done that, I press enter. So it also already changes to check. So I can change the color and bold it. So I will change the color to blue.
So can you see it has changed it? Let me autofill it down. You see. So I can also do the same thing from here, from going to the insert and choose the symbol, insert symbol. So I can look for the same name. Okay. Then I can now search for the checkbox. Okay, so this place I have different checkbox. I have the mark, then I have the one on the box. So once I click on that, okay, so I have a different one. Once I click on that, we click on insert. So it's going to insert it. So I can go back to the same place and click here and click on insert too. So I have that. Okay, so now let me close it and let me do it separately. Let me go back to the same place, symbol, and let me click on check and click on insert. Then click on close. I can color it the same way. So if I color it, bold it, then put it center and change the color. Okay, so change the color, change the color to that. So you see there is no difference. So now let's do another one. Let me put capital 0 here and put it at the center. So I can go back to the same place. I bold it. Let me click bold and let me change the fonts. I will change the fonts to the same thing. Let's scroll down to W and let's look for Wingding. That is Wingding 2. So it has changes to wrong mark. So I have the wrong mark. So I can change the font color to red. So let me change it to red. So I can now auto fill it down. So I have it as red.
Anytime zero precedes other numbers like this, that zero is going to be removed. I mean, when I type 0000123, so that zero has been removed. But if I want that zero to be there, so I'm going to format the text to test. So now I have it as test, not as number. So if I type it here, it's going to be appeared now. Or otherwise, I can use single quotes. I put single quotes, opening single quote, then I will type my number. So you see the zero is still there. I will type open quote, then I will put my number, so I have it there. So now I can copy it. If I copy it and paste it, so it's going to keep the text format. It's going to retain the text. Now assuming that I want to remove the zero before the number, so I will copy the empty text. So I will copy the empty text, then I will select the other text that I want to remove the zero. Then I choose paste special, right click on that, choose paste special, then I will click on add, then I will click OK. Can you see it has removed those zero before the numbers? Let's take a look at another example. I want to remove zeros across the colon. I want to remove the preceding zero across the colon. So I'm typing this 00 A120 ABC. So 000 DEOO. So now on this column, I want to remove the zeros preceding it. So I'm using this formula. If my logical test is going to be if that is left, and my test is going to be secure 13. Secure 13. Okay, I don't need the number of character. So for now, so I'm closing it. Still my logical test. If that's 1, if the left is 0, if how the value is 0, that's what's the value, what I want computer to do if that value is true. So I'm going to put right, then the test, my test on the right is this Q13. Okay, because I'm doing it across the column, so I'm going to put comma len. Okay, open the bracket, my test is going to be this. Okay, then -1. So that is
because I'm doing it across the column, put -1, then I will close the brackets for the right, then comma. So if the value is false, so what I want computer to return is this cell. Okay, then I will close the brackets, then press enter. So already you see it has removed the first is 0, so I can change. Let me add another 0 to this. So you see that I have 4 zeros here, then I have 3 zeros. Let me autofill it down. It has removed the first 0. But if I drag it across the column, so it's going to remove each 0 for each column until there is no more 0 to remove. Can you see it? So now there is no more 0 to remove. So I drag it again, everything remains constant to the cell Q13. Lastly, on this video, let me select A1 to G1. So I will come here, then I will click on merge center, merge and center. So it's already merge and center. Let me unmerge it. So now let's do it from the dialog box, the font dialog box. On the alignment horizontal, pick center. On the vertical, I pick center, so I can wrap text, I can shrink to fit, I can merge cell. So I'm merging the cell, so I will now click OK. So that is how to merge cells.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.